Thanks. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Lieutenant Chuck Carafano. I'm with the Public Information Office of Montgomery County Department of Police. I want to take you back briefly to June 16th. It was a tragic day. We lost a little boy, a 5-year-old little boy. His life was taken, and our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers still go out to that family. But that day started, we had a call for a vehicle fire, and our officers in Montgomery County Fire Rescue responded. But subsequently, what happened is our fire marshals, as well as our crash reconstruction unit, got involved in that investigation and determined some facts. And those facts led us to take that investigation. So those facts led us to change the venue of that investigation. It was assigned to our Major Crimes Division under the leadership of Director of the Major Crimes Division, Captain Darren Francke. And right now I'm going to invite him up. He's going to share with you some updates in the investigation and entertain any questions you may have. Cap?
Good morning. My name's Darren Francke. I'm captain with the Montgomery County Police and director of the Major Crimes Division. On June 16, 2015, Montgomery County Police and fire rescue units responded to the area of Samog Highway and Fields Road for a collision with a fire. Once there, paramedics found Nargis Shafrad, a 33-year-old female, outside of the vehicle. She was in pain from having second and third degree burns about her. They observed that inside the vehicle there had been a fire, and discovered in the back seat, after they extinguished with their fire extinguishers, discovered in the back seat was a Daniel Dana. He's a 5-year-old little boy. Our collision reconstruction unit responded to the scene and immediately started investigating along with the Montgomery County Fire Rescue Fire Marshals. It became apparent through the course of that day, after examining the car for any malfunctions, any defects, while examining the source of the fire, while examining how the accident actually occurred in witness statements, that there was something suspicious about this death. We, at that point, started believing that this was not as a result of a vehicle collision. The Major Crimes Division became involved from the early part of this investigation due to those investigators' work, and we began doing interviews, we began doing forensic analysis. We began running in several different directions to try and determine what happened to Daniel Dana. Over the last month and a half almost, our detectives have been relentless in trying to determine what occurred. And through interviews specifically of Hamid Dana, the father, and of Ms. Shafrad, eventually, in combination with the ruling by the officers of the chief medical examiner, we've determined the following. Number one, Daniel Dana was murdered. The cause of death was diphenhydramine intoxication, and the manner of death was a homicide. We've also determined that Nargis Shafrad, Daniel's mother, intentionally overdosed him, which caused his death, and then set fire to the vehicle. We have appropriately obtained an arrest warrant for her, charging her with first-degree murder and first-degree arson. She has been served with that warrant. She is currently under guard at an undisclosed medical facility. In the coming week, she will eventually be transported to a unit that can process her, and she will be charged formally in front of the courts. A lot of work has gone into this investigation, and a very tragic investigation for everyone involved. We want to thank also the chief medical examiner, the Montgomery County Police Collision Reconstruction Unit, the Montgomery County Fire Marshals, the Maryland State Police Forensic Sciences Laboratory, and also the U.S. Marshals Task Force. They have adopted this case, and they were crucial to us serving her yesterday and keeping her under guard until she can be processed. With that, I'll take any questions.
Can you talk about the drug overdose? Being a mom of small kids, I recognize that ingredient. Could you talk about that and what medication it was? Is it Benadryl?
The common medication that's found is Benadryl. I don't want to go into specifics about what we found in the investigation at this point until she is processed, until the court proceedings begin. But it is a common ingredient in Benadryl.
So you don't know if it was Benadryl or not, but that was the ingredient that took his life?
That was the main ingredient that took his life. We believe we know what medicine it was, but again, the investigation's ongoing as far as that.
So for regular people, say a common ingredient found in over-the-counter medications, such as children's Benadryl,
Right.
Was an overdose from that
Correct.
killed him.
Correct, but it was an excessive amount. It was an extraordinary amount of Benadryl or diphenhydramine that the child consumed.
And so once the child was dead, she placed the child in the car, and then she crashed on purpose?
Yeah, the child was deceased in the car. Thankfully, he did not have to suffer from the fire. He was already dead before the fire.
And then did she suffer burns from setting the fire?
Yes.
And can you say how she set it? Was there gasoline or?
At this time, she used gasoline that she had in the passenger compartment of the vehicle, and spread that gasoline about the car and set it on fire.
What about motive? Why did she do this? We know that they were involved in custody and divorce proceedings. Was it something dealing with that?
We don't want to speak specifically to motive at this point. Again, your observations are correct. She had a final divorce hearing with her husband scheduled for that very afternoon, and this occurred at shortly before 4 a.m., so several hours away from that hearing.
You said that she's being held in a medical facility. Is she being tested for mental illness, perhaps?
No.
Just for the burns?
It's for her burns.
Question about her custody status right now. Understanding she's probably still recovering from these injuries. And she's under guard. Why has she not been outright arrested, even though she is in the hospital? Because we know people are arrested in the hospital all the time. So
Sure.
What's the difference here? What's the difference? Can we say she's in custody, under guard? Sounds.
Oh, no,
a little
she's,
bit hands-off.
sorry, no, she is in custody. I will tell you that it took a lot of work on the part of investigators and both the fire marshal, the fire investigation side, and for our investigators in the interviews we had to conduct. And we don't level these charges lightly. It took us a while to get to the point where we were satisfied way beyond probable cause. And really the final point in that was the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner ruling it a homicide and giving us the cause and manner.
But your investigators, pretty quickly, what were the telltale signs in that car that this fire was not as a result of that?
Our collision reconstruction folks did a great job showing that the fire did not come from underneath the vehicle, that it started in the passenger compartment. The fire marshals also assisted with that. You know, when first responders got there, the doors of the car were locked. There were just a couple things that didn't make any sense. Now, when we started, we didn't know who it was. It could have been someone that ran her off the road. It could have been, you know, we did become aware of the divorce proceedings. Obviously, in any case, you look at every possible lead. So we were in multiple different directions trying to figure out what happened in this event.
Were there any calls to the home, 911 calls, anything preceding this incident that might have indicated domestic trouble?
They have a history of domestic events, but just interactions. But as far as this evening, no, there wasn't anything that happened directly before this event.
Did she alert firefighters at all that there was the child in the backseat, or was that something that they really only stumbled upon after the flames were out?
It was a chaotic scene, and the paramedics determined that, located Daniel in the back seat.
So she made no mention that the child was there?
She was in a great deal of pain while she was there from the fire.
You had initially reported she was screaming and pacing. Do you think that was just an act? Was she reacting to the death of her son? What do you think that was about?
I don't want to speculate on that. Again, I do know that we've charged her with first-degree arson and that we've also charged her with first-degree murder. Other than that, I can't speculate as to how she was acting at the scene.
We also reported she had burns to her hand. Is there another part of her body that she still suffered the first, or second, and third-degree burns?
Yeah, the hands were the worst, but she did have burns of about 40% of her body.
Does she have a history of mental illness?
There are none that we have gotten verified.
And forgive me, I'm late on this, but in terms of any prior contact with Child Protective Services?
I don't want to speak to that right now. Again, that goes into part of the case, and certainly that's going to come out. Any kind of interactions like that will come out during trial.
Was any threat? I mean, we know that divorce proceedings and custody battles are very ugly, but most of them unfortunately don't end up with one of the parents killing their own child. Was there any threat made, any note left, anything to indicate that she was going to do this?
No, there was no indication. There was no one that she reached out to for help in the day or days preceding this. No indication at all.
How about in retrospect, any kind of forensic evidence on her computer you could address? How to torch a car, or whatever you meant by.
I don't want to speak to what we found in the investigation. That'll come out at some point, but we're confident that we have what we need to be successful at trial.
And you don't think anyone assisted her?
No.
Can you tell us about the collision scene? Did the fire start before the collision? If I remember, the path of that car went all over the place.
Yeah, it did go all over the place. We are evaluating witness statements and trying to get a final idea on that. If you look at the way the vehicle did go off the road, it would suggest that there was a chaotic scene in the passenger compartment of the vehicle. As far as narrowing down the precise time, that we have not done yet. We just know for sure the fire was set. It was set intentionally, and it was set in that passenger compartment.
Did she have any drugs or alcohol in her system?
I don't want to speak to her medical history.
When you say passenger compartment, do you mean front seat specifically, back seat specifically, only where the child was?
There were multiple areas in the passenger compartment where there was gasoline tested for, and the gasoline that she had there was in the front passenger compartment.
She didn't mean to hurt herself, as far as you know.
I
This was sort of,
I don't know her intentions as far as that goes.
she didn't want to kill herself.
No, I don't believe she wanted to kill herself. Certainly she made exit from the vehicle, and certainly she could have chosen, if she wanted to harm herself, any number of ways to do it other than by that fire.
When was the last time the child was seen alive?
On the 15th, earlier.
I understand you don't want to speak to motive, but what we're trying to figure out is whether this kid died on purpose or by accident. Is there anything you can tell us about that? What direction you want in the fact that she charged you?
We've interviewed her several times. We've collected a great deal of evidence. We wouldn't charge her with first-degree murder if we didn't believe that she intentionally killed her son.
She been cooperative with you?
We've talked with her several times, and she's talked with us.
Is this her only child?
Yes.
Can you say if she confessed during that, or?
I don't want to speak to the exact statements that she's made at this point.
Can you
Couple of
also say,
clarification questions. I've heard the last name of the family pronounced Donna and Dana. You've been saying Dana. Can we stick with that?
I will say I've heard it, Dana, but I want to be precise about it, so we can change that up. We'll research it.
Okay. And can you pronounce her name, please?
Nargis Shafrad.
And last clarification: were she and Hamid living together on the night of this incident?
No.
can you just describe, I know it's part of the evidence, but are you able to describe, when you say excessive amount, in terms of this medication? Because, you give kids this allergy medicine or whatever, you give them a couple teaspoons. And, know, you hear about kids overdosing on, say, Tylenol or something like that. I mean, what kinds of amounts are we talking about here that would actually kill a kid?
We have statements from her about the amount that she gave them, and it was in great deal in excess of a couple teaspoonfuls.
But you won't say how much.
Her statements are that she gave, that she forced him to drink a bottle of medication.
Is there any
How big of a
indication-
bottle?
Yeah, do we know how big of
Yeah.
a bottle? 8 ounces, 5 ounces?
We'll talk about that at trial. But certainly, if you, as parents, if you think about the medication that you get at stores, it doesn't come in small bottles that you would.
But you know, she forced him to drink it, because I know these, as a mother, these things are flavored. Kids,
She forced him to drink it.
Any indication as to how long before the fire the child had been dead?
No, we know for sure that he was dead prior to the fire.
She hasn't said whether, you know, she made him drink this stuff in the afternoon or whether-
We have a time frame, but obviously from that time frame, you know, she drank a great deal, but there's a lot of variables into how long that would take to actually cause him to die. So we don't have a precise time, other than the fact that he did not die as a result of the fire, and he was not affected by the fire.
Do you have any other injuries that you could tell, or was he burned beyond?
No, actually, because of the way the fire spread or didn't spread, he was not badly injured from the fire. So it became readily apparent that it was not the fire that killed him.
What, did he have any other physical injuries, like that she had done anything else?
I don't have any indication of that. Okay? All right. Thank you.